a.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the work session for the Limestone County Commission. Today on the agenda, we'll have the minutes from Do we have any public comment, Nell?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Craig Beasley.
Mr. Beasley?
Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
All right.
How you doing this morning, Craig?
Good, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good.
I left y'all a handout. And for the record, my name's Craig Beasley. I'm with the Board of Trustees with Athens Limestone County Public Library. And what I'd like to do is start a little trend here, maybe meeting with y'all, coming by once a month or so, and keeping you up to date on what's happening at the library. There have been a couple of good things that have happened just recently I wanted to let you know. If you've driven by or been in the library, you've seen the windows look different. Maybe not, because they don't look that different, but what we've done is tinted them. They put tint on there, which is reducing the heat inside, which is helping our utility bill, and it's cutting down on the glare. So we're happy with that. The other thing, if you go to the children's activities room, you'll see a bunch of tables that look like Shoney's. We got new seating in there, and the kids just love it. They're going there, flocking to it, and sitting down. And I bring that up because the first thing I handed you is a calendar of events. We have these at the library if y'all want to go get some. These are all the kids' activities that are happening in October. This happens every month. There's at least two things, well, except on Thursdays when Read to a Therapy Dog comes up. There's at least two things or something big going on all day at the library. There's a lot more going on than just people coming in and reading books. And it's not just children. The next one is the calendar for the adults. And what I want to point out to that is on the left side, it says free weekly events. And that has a list of all the people that the library is collaborating with to provide opportunities to the county at large. In particular, I want to point out we have new collaborations with Calhoun Community College for free digital literacy, GED, Alabama career officials. We have the ongoing RSVP free tax preparation. Therapy Partners Read to a Therapy Dog, that's a really popular event. Silver Sneakers, North Alabama Area Health Education Center, adult yoga, that one's getting really filled up. It's not mentioned here, but we have a crocheting club, and then the Master Gardeners are really great with the lunch and learn things that they do. What I'm getting to, there's more than 20 different programs, ongoing community focused, that are offered free every day, every week, every month. And that brings me to the next one. The visitors and patrons that we have. Now the card holders vary from 7,500 to 10,000. That's a lot of folks that have a library card. But what I want to call your attention to is the visitors. That's a lot of foot traffic. 70,000 people a year coming through the library. And they're doing all sorts of things. They're going to use the computers. They're looking to use the copying machines we have. There's a lot of other things going on at the library than just books. It's an important community location that adds to the quality of life. And I want to bring you to the last page. We're on track. There were 7,341 visitors to the library in the month of August. That includes one Saturday when 400 people came to the library. 400 people on a Saturday from 9 till 2. That's a lot of folks coming in. So I just want to leave it right there. I hope what I'm getting over here is that the library is an important contribution to the quality of life in this community. And we need to keep it up. And I appreciate y'all's support. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Beasley. Thank you.
Bethany Shockney.
Bethany.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bethany Shockney with Limestone County Economic Development, and I am very pleased to be here this morning to talk with y'all about a project that we can now announce that's coming into our community. Carpenter Technology, as you know, is a company that is down on South Highway 31. Carpenter came in 2012. They located down there in Limestone County on a 231-acre site. And they came in at that time with a $500 million plus capital investment, bringing in over 200 jobs. Then again in 2018, they expanded across the street to the south in that northernmost Delphi building, Plant 23. They renovated that and added an engineering project, a whole division with a lot of one of the largest metal 3D printing facilities just about in the country, and also produce metal printing powder for the metal printing industry. That was a $20 million investment for an engineering facility with over 50 jobs. And so they're coming back to us now with the good news that they have a total capital investment in this particular expansion of $354 million. This is for another 62 jobs minimum over a 3-year period of time. We think that's a very conservative number of jobs to be added. They really think it'll be more than that, but that number is the most conservative number. And also the state of Alabama, they've been very supportive in this. They've provided a very competitive incentive package as well for them at the state level, which will include the Jobs Act, and it'll also include a lot of training incentive through AIDT. So they come to us today requesting the abatement for non-educational taxes for sales and use tax during the construction, and then also property taxes. So during construction, they're going to save about $6 million, but the schools will receive approximately $3.4 million. The property tax abatement would be a savings of them for about $10 million, but they will be paying the schools about $8 million over a 10-year period of time. So we're pleased that they've selected Limestone County to continue to invest and expand, and we highly recommend that y'all approve this abatement, and we welcome them to the community for more expansion. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany.
Deborah King.
Ms. King? Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, I'm not educated enough to even speak on this morning. Just found out about it less than a week ago, and I'm concerned about the tax resolution that you are planning to vote on this morning. Number one, I think that the commission needs to table this for today. There's not enough public input. There's not enough explanation of what's going on about the tax after the people voted it down. We need more information about how you can bring it back up after it was voted down. And what I want to say, one thing about the Constitution, one of the commissioners mentioned the Constitution and how they had to go by the Constitution to enact this. Article 1, Section 35 states that the sole object and only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizen in the enjoyment of life, liberty, and property. And when the government assumes other functions, it is usurpation of and oppression of the people. I want Chairman Daly to speak to me as I am a 2-year-old and explain to me I want you to explain to me how much we are paying property taxes as of today, currently. I need you to explain to me what the change is if you sign this resolution today. And I also need you to explain to me, since we have not received any information within the last week, and even some of the commissioners said that they had not received information until this past week. If this is so important to be signed today, tell me why the commissioners were not afforded that, that information before now. And I'm asking that of Chairman Daley. I need you to explain to me.
Well, we don't deliberate during these parts of the meeting. I'll be glad to speak to you during the break about that, ma'am.
You can't explain to me and the rest of the community what meal we're paying? I mean, you know what meal we're paying today?
Drew?
You can't tell me?
Ms. King, this is not the correct forum for those questions at this time.
When is the correct forum for the
The
questions?
The chairman mentioned that you could speak to him
Afterwards, outside?
during the break. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're welcome
so-
to call me anytime, ma'am.
No, well, so if you sign this resolution today, what good is it to me to come and talk to you after the meeting? What good is it for me to call you next week if you can't talk about it now? So what I'm asking you to do is to table this today and have a public hearing so that people understand what you're doing. We voted this tax down, and now you're going to ram it on through and say, oh, it's constitutional that we have to do this. So we need explanation. We need to understand why. We just need to understand what you're doing. And I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, everybody else in here may understand exactly what's going on. But when we as the people vote something down, and then you can sign a resolution to put it back in, we just need explanation for that. Help us to understand, or help me to understand. I'm the one that's asking to be spoke to like a 2-year-old to explain to me. But if you sign this resolution during this meeting or directly after, I've wasted my time to call you. I mean, seriously.
I will speak on it when it comes time. All right, next, Ellen.
Xerxes Wall.
Mr. Wall?
Would it be okay if I leave this up right here so I can see where I'm at the timeline?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I want to talk about the tax also. And I was going to ask what Ms. King asked, so I'll just go ahead and say, yeah, please table it today, and let's have a public hearing where we can all discuss it back and forth. So right now, I'm going to answer some of her questions because I do know the answers. I've spent a lot of time looking into it. Again, I only heard about it last week, although when we did vote it down in December of 2023, I think back then a lot of us knew it would be coming back up. I just didn't realize that it was going to be rushed through real quickly like this. So we are currently paying 23 mills in the county. What's at issue is a total of 8.5 mills. Currently, what's at issue is Amendment 778, which has been codified into Alabama Constitution. And that is that there's a requirement for a minimum amount of funding for the schools in any school district. School district now being discussed is District 1 of Limestone County, nothing else. We could divert a portion of existing revenue inside District 1 only. That would still leave the tax revenue outside District 1 unchanged. And because school taxes are a little different than other taxes, Carpenter Technologies and talked about that a little bit here. They're not subject to some of the exemptions for income levels and so forth, and for economic development. So it would slightly increase the revenue inside District 1 versus the rest of the county. The money in the rest of the county would still be available. It would also reduce the amount of money available for collection for the revenue commissioners, but that's going to happen either way by about $165,000 approximately. So what I would ask you to do is just let the public speak. Let us bring up other ideas. There are other ideas. I think in the spirit of that Amendment 778 that you could also use other funds and just meet the requirement of that amount. Now, some people would disagree with that, but I really think that it's more of a minimum funding than how the tax is collected. When you read, I think it's paragraph 5B, it definitely says you can divert existing taxes, which the county commission has already been doing for years. We have a 3 mil of the total 23.5 mils that is, I think I might have said 23 earlier, it's really 23.5 mils. We have a 3 mil hospital tax. It's actually called a hospital tax. That has not been going to the hospital for years, okay? So the idea of diverting taxes from their original purpose is not something new. That is something that has been being done by the commission for years. Now, there may be some restrictions on that, but hey, if animal control is public health, I would argue schools can be too. So it would require about half of that tax to go to, the school system, but I think that's well within the purview of what the commission has the authority to do. Anyway, the bottom line is, again, we just need more discussion on this. So please consider tabling it today and letting us let us discuss the issue. I know we're on a tight time constraint, as am I. So we're coming up on the 3 minutes, and but there's still 2 weeks left. So let's get it done.
Thanks, Zertis.
Thank you.
No further comments.
No further comments. All right, appreciate everybody's comment. Thank everybody. All right, today on the agenda, we will have the minutes from September the 2nd of 2025. Anybody got a discussion with the minutes? All right. Claims. We have claims in the amount of $3,266,458.32. Does anybody have any issue with any claim being paid? All right. Conflicts of interest. Anybody have any conflicts of interest or anything on the agenda today?
I do.
All right. Go ahead, Johnny.
We'll be voting this morning on funding for economic development. My wife is an employee there, so therefore I'm going to abstain from myself from the vote and discussion on that portion of the agenda.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Anybody else got anything? All right. Let the record be known that Johnny will not be voting on the economic development. All right, public hearings, we have none. Resolutions and orders. First on here will be a resolution to approve a resolution concerning the construction and funds to Carpenter Technology Corporation to construct, equip, develop, and install a vacuum induction melting furnace in Limestone County. Pursuant to the project agreement, the Limestone County will reimburse Carpenter Technology $75,000 over a period of 3 years for expenses incurred during construction of this project. Anybody got any concern or comment with that? All right. The next one is what was spoke on is the approve a resolution regarding the certain specific taxes required by law and of the public education. Everybody has an opinion. I hadn't got out and really been real out front on this because I don't want to persuade these gentlemen's vote. But what it is, my understanding, but there's an attorney here from the school board and an attorney here, our personal attorney. If they want to say anything about this, they're welcome to during this time. But it's something that's by the Constitution. It was voted on by the people back in 2006, as I believe is the number, to collect. And the law says that it will be a 10 mil property tax by the school, and that's up to y'all. I mean, it was a request to table it. If y'all want to table it, that's totally, I'm fine with it either way. I know it's been out there for quite some time. It's been conversation, even plumb back to the day that it was voted down. But Drew and Shane, I know Shane is the attorney for the city, and that's what part of it be collected in that part, and part of it's collected in the county. Either one of y'all have any statements y'all want to make on this?
So, Mr. Chairman, as I've discussed with the commission, my reading of Amendment 778 is that it sets a minimum 10 mil floor for education ad valorem taxes, and that it creates what I read as a ministerial act for y'all to pass such a tax. If the taxes listed in 778 do not come up to that 10 mil floor currently in Limestone County, and after the vote that was had, they do not. So the Constitution of Alabama would require you to levy up to the 10 mil floor of taxes. That is the absolute minimum under the Constitution that the county can pay. Now, Shane Black is here for the school board and may have some comments on the Amendment 778 and this tax himself. So I would turn the floor over to him if you'd like to speak to that.
I'm happy to do that. Good morning, y'all. It's nice to see y'all again. As it relates to this, Drew is entirely correct. Limestone County, as you know, we have and are proud to have some of the lowest property taxes in the state of Alabama. For generations, there was a series of property taxes that were voted on every 20 years in Limestone County. And that last came up, as it's been mentioned, a few years ago. There was a series, if y'all remember that ballot, there were some different taxes. Those taxes differed a little bit on what part of the county you were in. If you were in unincorporated Limestone County, you were voting on two different measures that added up to 5.5 mills of countywide taxes. And then there was a 3 mill district tax. That adds up to 8.5 mills. So if I'm in Clements, out at Clements, or in West Limestone, anywhere outside of, the municipal corporations in the county, then I had 8.5 mills. Now, in 2006, there was this constitutional amendment passed. It's a statewide constitutional amendment. It's Amendment 778, and this is the one we've been talking about. And under that amendment, it said, there is hereby authorized and there shall be levied. No room for discretion. In each school district of the state, in addition to all other taxes, a special ad valorem tax at a rate equal to 10 mills minus the ad valorem property taxes that you've got. So in 2006, Limestone County had 8.5 mills, right? This thing said you got to have 10. So in 2006, and from that point after, our taxes went up by 1.5 mills in unincorporated Limestone County to get us to 10. Now you fast forward to just a couple of years ago when we had that tax renewal vote. And right now I'm just sticking with unincorporated Limestone County, all right? So in unincorporated Limestone County, the voters voted it down. They voted them down. Every ballot proposition that was on there voted it down. This constitutional amendment then would say you've got to be at 10. So you take 10 minus what you've got. What we've got is 0. 10 minus 0 is 10. And so this Constitution would impose 10. Now that's not something that's a Limestone County rule or something that's been passed by just the citizens. This was a statewide vote that imposed it. And like Drew said, it creates a legal obligation to charge 10. It's sort of it's kind of a constitutional amendment for the bare minimum of property taxes that you can charge in your tax district to support public education. Now, there is a difference in what was voted, what was there before and what's here now. This would be just a district tax. In other words, it's 10 mills collected in the Limestone County School District. All that money that comes in is then spent in the Limestone County School District. That's a little different than part of what was voted down was a countywide tax that was taxed everywhere and then split up by Athens City Schools, Limestone County Schools, Madison, and Huntsville. What the resolution you have in front of you today does is it imposes this constitutionally required tax of 10 mills to substitute for those taxes that were voted down. But it also does decrease taxes in some portions of Limestone County. If there are portions within Madison and within Huntsville. Now, y'all, this amendment does not apply to them because they tax way above the minimum 10 mills, right? Y'all know that if you happen to live in Limestone County and you in the city of Huntsville or you in Madison, you're paying way more than 10 mills already. This constitutional amendment only goes for the lowest of the low and makes them get to 10. So this resolution today also honors the vote of the people when they voted a couple of years ago. In their portions, they will see a reduction in taxes because that portion of the countywide taxes that were voted down, the 5.5 mills that was voted down was collected countywide. That tax goes away. So what this resolution does in those areas is that 5.5 countywide mill goes down and goes away. Now, they still got other taxes they're paying, and they're nowhere near below the 10 mil. So this constitutional amendment does not affect them. Now, how does it affect Athens? In Athens City, y'all remember in that vote, in Athens City, one tax measure passed in Athens City, right? It was a 3 mill district tax. So in Athens, starting on October 1, 2025, there's a 3 mill district tax. So 10, the constitutional amendment, minus the 3 is 7. So this resolution would impose a 7 mill. Again, This is nothing that where any of you as commissioners are saying, well, I don't, I like this or I don't like this. This is something where the law of the state of Alabama that the people voted on back in '06 says this tax shall be imposed. And starting on October 1 of 2025, that's when these new rates go into effect. So all of these taxes that had been in place for years, they go away. If you don't vote on this resolution, they would stay the same. But if you're in Madison and you're in those Huntsville areas, your taxes will go down because that's what the people voted for. The people, again, in Limestone County voted for nothing, zero. But this constitutional amendment says you got to be a team. And so that's what it requires of you. But I want to point out, and you're right, Mr. Chairman, this was talked about back during the time of the vote, that this would happen starting with this tax year. But I do want to point out to anybody that's listening, and Ms. King has some good questions about the rates. Hopefully that answers those questions. But the important thing to know is this is not this commission voting to increase taxes or to do something contrary to what the people of Limestone County said. The people of Limestone County voted as they did. The people of the state of Alabama in this constitutional amendment said, well, but you got to at least have this. And so this resolution would do that. Now, I would urge the commission to go ahead and do it, not because either for or against the tax, just because that's what the law requires that the commission do. And those tax rates, again, would go into effect October 1. Doing nothing leaves the old ones in place, and there are people in this county that would then have higher taxes than they ought to have because of the vote of the people a couple of years ago. This is just carrying that all out.
And I'll speak on one more thing, and I'll let y'all ask any question you want to ask. And like I said, it's whether or not I agree or disagree with whatever the law. And I put my hand on the Bible, and I hope to hold the Constitution. That's what I mean. And I'm not going to. If y'all want to table this, that's totally up to y'all. Yeah, if y'all want to vote on it, that's fine. But I want y'all all to have your input, and y'all have any questions, y'all welcome to it.
So, Drew, I've got one question. The comments I've heard this week is that
Yes.
we're raising taxes or we're implementing a tax. Under the Alabama Constitution, my understanding is the county commission has no authority. We couldn't raise property tax if we wanted to without a vote of the people. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This tax is mandated by the Constitution.
So I couldn't raise the tax even if I wanted to.
Yes.
From there. One of the other questions is how can we put a tax in that wasn't voted on? But in 2006, the state of Alabama voted on this tax and passed it at that point in time to put in this minimum requirement.
Yes, sir. It was on the ballot. It was voted up by the people.
Mr. Wall brought up a question, could we transfer funds from another source in the county's general fund to meet this requirement? Do you see any provision in the code that would allow such a thing to happen?
The way I read this amendment and my current understanding is no, that is not possible based on what we have.
My last question is, and you can elaborate as much as you want, if we do not pass the resolution to collect this tax, what do you see as the consequence that would happen almost immediately?
Well, Commissioner Turner, I believe we would face litigation over this issue.
So, yeah, would you agree with that, Shane?
Yes.
So, if I had my way and I could design the property tax of the state of Alabama or the tax structure of Alabama, it would be drastically different than it is. But as an elected official who swore, as Chairman Daley said, who swore an oath to represent, uphold the Constitution of Alabama, I see no way in good conscience that I can do anything other than to vote for this reference without violating my oath that I took when I took office. Maybe it's not how I would fund education. Maybe it's not how I would fund county operations. But I swore an oath to uphold that Constitution, as many of y'all did who've served in the military or have served in law enforcement or served in elective office. That is a matter I can't violate, and I believe that voting otherwise would put me in violation of the oath I took.
What about in violation of what I just read? This is the Constitution, and you are violating it. You are violating it. I pay respect. This is the Constitution. I don't know which Constitution you read when you
Is the amendment voted on, that we voted on as a public in 2006 a part of the Constitution just as much as the initial 1901 document?
Absolutely.
So it is legally binding as a part of the Constitution, whether I agree with it or not. It is a legally binding part of the Constitution of Alabama.
Yes, Commissioner Turner, it's absolutely binding.
I didn't understand what he said about swapping around, like Mr. Wall mentioned about changing funds around from one place to the other. Why can't that be done? I can't understand what he's saying.
You answered that question, but she said she couldn't hear. Would you mind repeating that? About do we have the ability, should we desire, to transfer money from another part and not collect this tax that the Constitution calls for?
Commissioner Turner, based on my reading of Amendment 778, I'll state this again. No, I don't see that we can do that.
So that's all I have.
And as Commissioner Turner said, and there's a lot of things that we do, county government, this, that, the other, but we are governed by legislative delegation. We can only do what the legal law says we can do. Am I right or wrong? And and like I said, I don't agree with a lot of things that happen in the world personally, but I also got to do what the law says I got to do. And like I said, if I sign this document today, and I know that it was stated a minute ago, I'm going to sign the document as the position I sit in because that's what y'all gentlemen want, that we have voted on. But now if y'all gentlemen want to table this or y'all want to figure out another way, I'm more than welcome to hear y'all's suggestion. If the majority of y'all say put it away, we'll put it away. Then we'll deal with the other side of it. But it has been, we've known for several months that all this was happening. And it is...
It's in 2 weeks, it still falls before October, which should still put you in not being, I guess, in compromising the potential of getting sued. So if you've known about it for a few months and this was just given out, when the agenda was given out, people haven't had time. I'm out in the city, this doesn't affect me. You just said mine's going up October 1st anyway. But I guess I hear what you're saying about the Constitution, but the people of unincorporated Limestone County, the way that I hear it is that you have until October 1st. The next meeting is going to be September 29th. If you table it today, you give the...
We don't have another meeting until after October 6th, the next meeting.
There's a special meeting that should be called, just so that people get an opportunity to understand, because even me trying to understand it, again, I don't have the dog in the fight, but just hearing what's being said, it's I hear what they're saying. If you've known about it for months, and then they're just now getting an opportunity to understand it.
Before we go any further, this is not the way that we got a rule of procedure that we follow. And out of respect, yes, ma'am.
I wasn't being controversial or
I know.
competitive, I just asked the question.
I'm going to ask y'all, do y'all have any more questions for the legal counsel or anybody else in this room as a body?
You mentioned, and if we don't do something for October 1st, they're going to pay a higher rate, right? October 1,
Higher
if
rate.
we don't do something, the taxes are going to be higher in unincorporated Limestone County. Is that correct?
If you did not
If
take
we
the
don't-
action,
yes.
there are portions of Limestone County that will be subject to a tax rate that the people voted down in that election. If you are within the city of Madison
Gotcha.
and you are in Limestone County, or you are within the city of Huntsville and you are within Limestone County, that 5.5 countywide tax, you are subject to that, and they'll pay that this year because you pay taxes in arrears, right? But starting on October 1, they will be subject to that rate again.
Right.
Now, that tax was voted down.
Right.
So if I'm in Madison or if I'm in Huntsville, I'm going to see a $5.5 million tax decrease because that tax was voted down by the people of Limestone County. This amendment will not affect them. It only affects the people that are in tax districts that have gone as low as the state of Alabama. The state of Alabama basically says you can't go below 10 mils.
Right.
So, that old thing that, kids, you play limbo and they say, how low can you go? How low can you go? The people of Limestone County have gone as low as they can go on property taxes as it relates to support for public education.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? I'm gonna ask y'all, do y'all want to table it or do y'all want to go with it? This is
We would have to call a special meeting for October 1.
and that's whatever y'all want to do. I'm gonna ask y'all's opinion. That's, because y'all are you know, and if y'all vote it or vote it down, I'll either sign it or I won't sign it, either which way, but.
I feel compelled to advise, again, that there's a possibility that if y'all don't do this today, we would be exposed to litigation. And I feel, as in my role in serving the county, that I need to advise that.
Do y'all want to move on, or y'all got any more discussions? And I want to respect y'all in the position y'all sit in too. And anybody else got anything else?
Well, looks like we don't have a choice but. So,
And I know that for a pretty good while now, Drew has went back and forth with y'all. If y'all had any questions, y'all, I know he has printed off tons of information I know Commissioner Turner's asked a lot of questions, and I respect that because he's wanted to know and that's, we have. But if anybody else got anything else, we're more than welcome to do what y'all want to do as a body. Because we're all going to get criticized the same. So that's whatever way we go. So. All right. If we have nothing else on the school tax, and I hope that has educated into where we're at with the situation, and like I said, we have known this since the other tax was voted down back when it was brought up in a special election. And then from another note of it is, too, I want y'all to know that this is requested, just like the last was, by the school board. By the school systems. They have sent us letters saying that we have, so I want y'all to all know that too. So we all know that anyway. So
We have to make a motion to table it anyway, correct?
It'd have to be in the regular meeting.
Well, no, we can take it off in the work session. If we get to the regular meeting, if we decided, if all of us if we're going to vote on it, we would have to do that, yes. But I'm just asking y'all that question, so. All right. If we have nothing else from school tax, we're going to move on to contracts, agreements, and MOUs and grants. Number one on here will be to approve a contract between the Limestone County Commission and USDOT for a $200,000 SS4A grant for comprehensive study action plan, and the county has a match of $50,000. Anybody got any discussion with that?
Mr. Chairman, these are maximum on this. So the grant is up to $200,000 with a $50,000 match. So I just wanted to clarify that. So these are for the areas that were left out of the study that was done by TARCOG. So it'd get the remaining areas of Limestone County that were left out because of on the study that TARCOG did. So there is no. This is the agreement. And so we haven't negotiated a price with a firm to actually do the work. So that will come at a later date. But this agreement gets us moving forward so that we can send out a request for qualifications to different firms. So, like I said, those are maximums. So I just want to clarify that. And then at a later date, when we actually enter into an agreement with a consultant, would be the actual fees.
And I'll add a little more to that. As Mark said, this is just up to that amount. And a lot of times we have a federal aid project or something, we have to have this study done to present the information. So if we had a project for $1 million bridge, we'd have to have this study done to put into that process. So, all right. Anybody got anything else, Mark?
No, sir.
All right. And number two will be to approve to apply for a $20,000 grant from Mazda Toyota for the sheriff's office. There's no match on this. That's always great to have those with no matches. And so anybody got any talk with that? All right. Number three will be to approve to apply for an ALEA Homeland Security grant to purchase and install security cameras at the Clinton Street Courthouse Annex and the courthouse up here on the square. This is a non-reimbursable grant. The amounts to be determined is undetermined at this time. And the reason for that, we've applied for this several years in the past, and we'll have to get bids together and all. All this is doing is giving Jonathan the ability to apply for the grant. We've applied for it in times past and have not been receptive of it or hadn't received it. But you don't never know unless you apply, and this will add security cameras around the courthouse and around this building. So that's what that is about. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right, number four will be to approve a 25-26 contract with Alabama Department of Youth Services in Limestone County for detention bed use at the juvenile court. Anybody got a discussion with that? And I know Tara's here today. Thank you for being here today. All right, anybody got anything with that before we move on? Number five will be to approve the Alabama Department of Youth Service agency grant agreement and this is for the amount of $49,757. This is for fiscal year 25-26 also. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right, no discussion. Number 6 will be to approve an agreement granting a tax abatement to the Carpenter Technology Corporation based on an investment of, that's a typo, it's supposed to be $3.5 million, to develop a project, and this is employee 62 more employees at the project. Anybody got any discussion with that? And I know Carpenter has been a good partner and has $354 million. Okay. All right. I read it wrong. It's got too many zeros in it. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right. Number 7 will be to approve an agreement through Coleman Juvenile Detention Center and the Limestone County Commission to hold youth services in Coleman Detention Center. I know we've all talked about this. Commissioner Turner done a lot of research on this. I want to thank him for doing this. We have, of course, we have a contract with our detention center over in Tuscumbia, but we've added another bed over there. But as the county grows, you don't never know what you run into. And if you run into somebody needing a hold at night or whatever, this just adds another option for us to have. It is just as the contract reads, I believe it's $155. Is that the right number, Drew? And it's but it's it just adds that up to 72 hours. They will hold if we ever have a 72-hour hold of something. Because if we ever have a situation where you already have 3 over there and you have something we need to hold somebody, they have granted to give us another option. So just want to thank Coleman and Commissioner Turner for working through that, and Drew and everybody for getting that set up. So, all right, you got anybody ask anything with that? All right, budget revisions. We have a couple of budget revisions listed below. The first one is for motor vehicle. That is for a van for council and agent. As y'all know, we have applied for grants in times past, and of course, funding. It takes about 2 years to do that, and we've got a van that has some major issues, and she had this money left over in her. So this is just to spend that money on buying a new van. And we've got it out, and it's there on the Sourcewell bid list, so it will be purchased from the dealer. So they've got one in stock. So has anybody got a discussion with that? And the other one is for the lodging tax, and it's just at the end of the year, we always take the lodging tax money and give it back, and it goes into tourism stuff. Anybody got anything with that? All right. No discussion on neither one of those budget revisions. Number 2 will be to authorize Ella Morrell to approve department budget revisions as necessary for the end of the year. And as everybody knows, our fiscal year ends October 1st, and this is something we do every year because we will have a few budget revisions here and there, just to make everything balance out for the year. And so that gives Ella an ability to sign that. Anybody got any issue with that? And number 3, to approve the fiscal 25-26 budget, and this will start October the 1st. Anybody got a discussion with the budget? All right. And then, of course, as Commissioner Turner spoke, the number 4 one will be to approve an allocation to the Economic Development Association. And that is a partnership between us and the city, and so anybody got any issue with that? All right, and emergency purchases, we have none. Board appointments, we have none. Award of bids, as y'all see, we have a long list of asphalt and rock and everything else in the world dealing with paving. It'd be liquid asphalt. Mark, have you got anything you need to pick up on the bids?
No, sir. These bids came into our favor. We saw a reduction in price for rock. The asphalt's pretty well held steady. So these came in our favor. So we will begin estimating for next year's purposes through the winter, so that we'll know what we're ready to do. So we'll be ready to go next spring and start putting these materials on the road. So thank you, guys.
All right. Anybody got any discussion with anything? Anybody got a question for Mark on this? All right. All right, personnel action, policy, and staffing plans. We have a few things on here today. First one will be to approve to hire Carly Luter as a corrections officer, and this will be effective the 29th, pending a drug screening. Anybody got any issue with her? All right, then number 2 will be to approve the staffing plan for fiscal year 25. Anybody got any issue with that? All right, number 3, Commissioner Joseph Cannon has asked about some job description changes, and we've been working diligently with this. And this is the job descriptions in Joseph's office. He wanted to make some amendments and changes and stuff, and Drew and all and Hillary and all have worked hard on this. So this right here is the new job descriptions for the License Commission Office, and as y'all can read, it's a chief clerk, it's a office supervisor, tag and title supervisor, tag and title clerks, which it would be some tag and title clerk 1s, 2, and 3s in there, and then also a help desk, and then out of state tag and title specialist. This is a new position. And like to go back to the law situation, Joseph had asked about this chief clerk to change that just a little bit, but the law says that there's a catch in the law that says it's got to be specific to clerk versus, and Drew can explain that to us, I reckon.
The statute that we're dealing with, if you're talking about the distinction between deputy and chief clerk, is that's the issue, that the statute refers specifically to chief clerk.
And I just wanted to clear that up because Joseph had asked about it being deputy versus chief, and the reason for that is if he's absent or in presence of him, for Christie to assume action, it has to be listed by the statute. It has to say chief licensed clerk versus deputy, or however it was worded originally.
Yes, sir. On the face of the statute.
On the face of the statute.
It's basically just semantics, same job, but the title.
Essentially, yes, Commissioner.
And I know Joseph had reached out to several of us about that. I just wanted y'all to understand the logic, because of the statute says it's got to be this way versus that way. So that goes back into that law. That law, y'all lawyers get us every time. So that was the law. All right. So anybody got any discussion with that? And I want to, before we move on, and then number 4 will be to approve to amend the following job description at the sheriff's office. Chief reached out, wanted to change a couple of things in some job description, so that is a job description change for him. Anybody got any issue with that? All right, then number 5 will be to approve to pay the pay scale for fiscal year 25-26, and the pay scale will begin on the 28th, and with pay, because the reason we start on 28th is because it's right in the way the week falls, and it just makes the whole lot easier counting. So first is October 1st, it'll start on the 28th versus the 1st. Anybody got any discussion with that? All right, no discussion with that. We will move on to the next merit increases. We have several listed below. Has anybody got any conflict with anybody on the merit increase? And at this point, Mr. Massey, the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 subdivisions for you guys to consider today as new, first time submitted. The Oaks Phase 1, this is a major for preliminary approval, creating 42 lots in District 2. We have Brigadoon West Phase 2. This is a replat of lots 26 and 27, and it includes some other lands that were originally outside the subdivision. So this is a minor for preliminary and final, consolidating to 1 lot in District 3. And then Dutton Estates, this is a minor for preliminary and final, affecting that 1 lot in District 1. Then we have 2 subdivisions. It's really 1 location, but it had been previously approved as 2 phases. Davis Preserve Phase 1 and Davis Preserve Phase 2. They've made some changes. The subdivision developer has changed. It's sold, and they made some changes, and their time frame was ending, that they were going to have to come back before the commission for approval. So Davis Preserve Phase 1, this is a major for preliminary, creating 99 lots and 1 common area in District 2. And then Davis Preserve Phase 2, this is a major for preliminary, creating 212 lots and 2 common areas and 1 detention pond area that's in District 2. And then, do y'all have any questions about subdivisions, any of the subdivisions? If not, I'll give you guys an update on what's going on paving-wise. We're paving Johnson Lane in District 1. Upon completion of that, then we'll be moving to District 4 for Little Tom, Big Creek, and Pope Road. So we should be in a spot to complete all of our chip seal projects by the end of the week, weather permitting. And then we will be finishing out our other two paving projects, plant mix paving projects that were originally on the list. And then I know that there's a few other projects that, because we have extra time, there were a few other projects that were mentioned. We can we'll start working those in. Anything you guys have, we'll be past chip seal season, past the October 1 date. But any plant mix projects that you might have, let us know, and we'll start working through all of those. Like I said, I know a couple of you have already gotten estimates on some projects, so that would be where we would move once we complete our paving project. And so y'all just let us know anything else to add. And then kind of outside of what our crews handle, but are still going on, utility relocations have begun at Capshaw and East Limestone intersection. So we ask everybody to be mindful of that. There will be some utility crews in the area. They're moving those those utilities out of the way so that roundabout project can begin. That project's supposed to be let end of the year, first of next year, and then the goal is to time that so that the main part of lane closures and things happen during school being out. So like I said, we're trying to time those things, and so if we can work through, if the utilities can get all their materials and everything in place, then we should be able to meet those timelines.
Go ahead. I'll go ahead there, Donnie.
Will the county be striping Cambridge, or is the contractor doing it?
We'll be striping Cambridge. That went so long on Friday. We did have no striping signs out to get us through the weekend, but we'll be doing the temporary stripe. Should be doing that today.
They are out there this morning, Johnny. They was leaving ahead. I seen Justin this morning. He said he was headed to Cambridge.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize. I forgot to mention that.
While we got you in the hot seat here, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Now, a couple questions. I know that you mentioned the roundabout out of District 2 we're working on. I know that's been a long-standing going project.
Yes, sir.
And I know that we've got a project up in District 1 on Bethel Road that's kind of an outgrown project.
To mention that.
Just kind of a quick update for the commission and everybody here. How many projects have we got out there that are still kind of, like grant projects and all we're working on?
Well, we have the East Limestone Capshaw Roundabout, and then we have Bethel Road. I did meet with the consultant on Bethel Road last week. We have a 30% set of plans. There are some items that we're probably going to have to take in-house. I spoke with the District 1 foreman the other day to kind of start getting him to start looking into some things that possibly we could do to bring the cost of the project down. So that's one of the things that we've kind of had to go back and forth on. That project is we have a $1.1 million federal budget on it. So we have those two projects that are kind of out there federally. We have the one, assuming you guys approve the grant on the Safe Streets for All. So that's a federally funded project. So those three would be the active projects. We've had several projects that we've submitted for but didn't receive funding. Some bridge projects and things like that we didn't receive funding on. But those projects are still alive. They're just kind of sitting there until we get another opportunity to submit applications for funding. But like I said, so that we have those three projects that are active and moving forward. We have Mooresville Road, which does have some federal funding. I apologize. I was going to say it's not federally funded, but it's through ADECA. Does have some federal funding. The intersection of Huntsville Browns Ferry and Mooresville is under design. We should be in a position to move forward on that. And then Old Highway 20 and Mooresville Road, same project, but putting turn lanes in at that location. So, like I said, but we have those that we're working toward as well. Like I said, I apologize. It's not traditional FHWA funding, so but it is federal funding. So we appreciate ADECA working with us and our DC legislative delegation to help us get that project moving forward.
I just want to kind of get everybody updated to where we stood on everything, because I know it's the end of the year and we're trying to finish up this year, but I know the things we still have going out there.
Yeah, still a lot going on.
Still a lot going on. Thank you, Mark. Didn't mean to put you in the hot seat there. Just want to
No problem. Thank you.
All right, other business, we have to remove the following items from inventory, which will be 2,000-gallon tanks up in District 1. And then also transfer the following items from the jail to the IT. And then we're allowed to sell on Gov Deals some used automobiles from Council on Aging and Engineering. Has anybody got any issue with any one of those items? All right, before we dismiss for a 15-minute break, has anybody else got anything going on, other business want to discuss, or any discussion items? All right. With everybody saying no, I suppose that's, so we will recess, and we will be back here at 10:10.